engineer. May I like calling you engineer? Most people maybe don't even remember you are.
Call me Winnie.
Winnie. Dr. Kizza Besigye,
Yeah.
as your husband, he has been away for 1 year, ever since he was arrested in Nairobi. As a family and as a wife, how does it feel?
Does it have to start there with being a wife? Kizza Besigye means to me much more. I'm not just his wife. He's my friend, he's my collaborator, he's a politician I work alongside in politics.
Yes.
It's a more complex relationship than being
Than
his
just
wife.
a wife. Yeah, okay.
So I can tell you that he is missing in my life. He's my partner. And it has been a very difficult year of not being with him and of knowing that he is held in very difficult conditions. He is in solitary confinement, even though the government says he is not. This is part of the wickedness that this government is is playing out. That he is in a prison, where he is, he's not allowed to step out like other prisoners and say, go to church on Sunday with other prisoners. He can't play football with them. He can't talk to them. He is held alone. There's a little courtyard that's the size of this room, where that's concrete with no chair there. That's where he can exercise and then go back to his cell. His cell has very little light coming in through a little hole almost as high as that roof. And his bed and the wall, it is on one side is a wall, and on the other side there's just a little room enough for him to get his feet, his legs out of the bed and out of the room. It's very tiny. That's where he is, blocked from light, from good air, from exercising, and from socializing with other people, and of course not with his family. So it's very painful to think that an innocent man should live like that. Now, while it's hard for me, it's even harder for his son, our son Anselm, who is out in the United States working on his PhD, but who has come here and just seen his father in those humiliating conditions and can't understand why. He knows him to be innocent. And these are the best years of his life as a young adult, thinking, writing, and wanting to have long discussions with his father, and he can't have him. So at a personal level, it has been, and it continues to be, very painful.
As a family, all in totality,
We are hurt. I mean, we are hurt. We are unable to, we didn't spend Christmas with him. We are not likely to be with him this Christmas. We worry about his health. We're just a family like any other. He's one of us and he's missing in our family union. And it's sad, it's painful, it's worrying, it's all those things. We are just one of many thousands of other families in the same situation.
like how are you coping?
I'm coping by focusing on why Kizza Besigye, an innocent man, is lying in humiliation in a prison cell. It's a political question. It's about the state of politics in our country. It's about President Museveni, 40 years in power, challenged, unable, afraid of giving up power, has become so repressive. A leader whom we followed into revolution, we admired, we believed in. Some of the best years of Besigye and my life, we lived them working with him as our leader, to turn this country around. But now he turns out 40 years on to become a repressor and to reverse the things that we achieved with him. So I try to address that question. How can we once again free ourselves from such an entrenched dictatorship that has become so repressive? So it stops being a question of Besigye in jail and Winnie and her son being hurt to a question of how do we break out of this dictatorship as a people, as Ugandans.
So
So
how
that
would,
is a question.
so how I will turn the question to you. How would you want to end this?
Well, I'm looking at it like this, that President Museveni has, over the years, ignored the constitution, even changed it at will with using money and coercion. He's captured the entire executive, no institution there, whether the Electoral Commission or the army or the police, he controls them very personally. He has captured the legislature. The parliament is now like 90% of it his supporters by creating more and more constituencies and, and buying support. So here is a parliament that he has captured. So lawmaking is captured. And now he has captured the judiciary. Every judge who is appointed with very clear instructions to serve him. He's a cadre judge. This is the word we use here now, cadre judges. So he's captured the state and he ignores the rules. He ignores even court rulings.
So what options do you have?
So that is the issue, how to free ourselves from totalitarian rule. And for that, we all have to work together and put in our bits. But for me now, I'm focusing very much on getting Kizza Besigye freed because he is very important to me. But with that, I also work with others who are looking for the freedom of others, other opposition leaders who are held in prison for nothing. You know, Kizza Besigye in the cell where he is, some of his neighbors are people who were arrested 10, 15 years ago and who've never even been to a courtroom ever. They've not been charged. 14, 15 years on remand. There are people there who don't even know what crime they are supposed to have committed. So, working with them to see how to get these people freed, and also working with others on how to free our country from this dictatorship is important. So for me now, I'm focused on Kizza Besigye.
Okay. With the connections you have made beyond the borders, someone would imagine that maybe you could, you know, have some influence
Why do you always
to
look from...
assert, to push, because you don't have so many options since you said judiciary
Sudhir,
has been compromised. So
why do you African people always want to look for solutions out there?
it could
You
be
see,
from fellow Africans.
this is a state of mind that was implanted at us from the time of colonialism, or maybe even go back to slavery, that we can't solve our problems, that we must look elsewhere for the solutions. I refuse to see it like that. Yes, you can call on your friends abroad to support you here and there, but the solutions are here. So I'm working with people here. You see, first of all, President Museveni set out to criminalize Kizza Besigye. He saw him as the main obstacle to the project which he has of imposing his son, really his son, onto Ugandans as the next president. I think I can say that with confidence. It's very clear that there is a plan which he supports of bringing his son from the military to become the leader of this country. It is opposed. Most Ugandans don't want it. And he sees Dr. Kizza Besigye as a main obstacle to that, of articulating the dangers in this, as he has been doing already. He is also able to mobilize and organize people to resist such a bad project. It's a dangerous project. Look at his son.
If Dr. Kizza Besigye has
Let
not
me finish what
managed
I'm
the
saying.
fund,
So he is a threat to his project. So he set out to criminalize him. He set out to fabricate and have him tried in the courts, convicted of a capital offense, whose punishment could be death or life imprisonment, so he can lock him out there and have the time and the space to complete his project. That is what we are faced with. We, the family of Kizza Besigye, an innocent man framed because he stands in the way of a bad, a dangerous political project. So what do? We also stand
what
up.
is dangerous about the project? People are saying maybe he could be better than the father.
How is that possible? How is that possible?
Describe for us how he spends his day.
You want to know how Besigye spends his day?
Yes.
How would I know how he spends his day?
When you go and talk to him, what does he say? How does he just stay in a confinement in that narrow,
Why is that so
small room?
interesting? He's a prisoner. I've told you, he's living in miserable conditions. He's being bitten by bed bugs continuously. He cannot talk to anybody. Even when he comes to meet a guest, there is somebody standing there watching over him, right? And if there was one time he was talking to a guest and this guard was watching him, wanted to go to the toilet. He pulled him away from his guest and went with him to the toilet because he's not allowed to leave him there just in case he talks to another prisoner. I mean, it's humiliating and it is horrible. And you shouldn't ask me to repeat it so many times, unless all you want is to make people emotional. Why?
No,
It's an injustice. There is no need for me to flog it to make people feel bad. It's wrong. It's just wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
Could you describe for us who is Besigye as a politician? Who you know?
Besigye is a leader, just like Museveni. As a young man, he felt strongly about the stolen elections, the derailment of democracy, the abuse of people. He had been imprisoned by the regime of Obote for nothing, held for 3 weeks in a dungeon. He saw people in the cell being taken away and they were killed and never seen again. He got out an angry man wanting to liberate his country. That's how he went to the bush. He left a well-paid job of a doctor at Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi. So he was full of good intentions for this country. He is a very intelligent person. He's a very disciplined person. Yeah. Kizza Besigye is a disciplined person. He never says anything that he will regret because he thinks through what he's going to say. He's not a man of any excesses. He's always here at his home, thinking, reflecting, and having social time with family and friends. This is the kind of person he is, who went and persevered in the bush with President Museveni, followed him, loyally served him, was his personal doctor, was a doctor of the high command, went to every major battle that was fought in Luero Triangle because he accompanied the chairman of the high command in case he fell sick. He was always there at every major battle. When I've heard some people belittling his contribution, I've wanted to cry. I felt angry. He took all the risks that the major commanders took because he followed them as a doctor. He saved lives there, including the life of General Saleh, who was once shot in both hands, through both arms, and it is Dr. Besigye who sewed those hands back on, and he's a healthy man today. So, I mean, this is a man who has meant well for his country, who's principled, who's done all his, who served all his adult life for his country, either in the bush as a rebel or in the parliament, the National Resistance Council, or in the army as a senior officer, or as a leader of a political party. He's done all of that with integrity. And so when you ask me who is he, I say he's one of the most honest, one of the most visionary, most honest and disciplined national leaders that we have in this country.
Describe him as a husband, as a family man.
Sorry?
Describe
Why do you
Dr.
keep
Kizza Besigye
going
as a
into our
husband,
family
as a
life?
family man.
He's a
Or
family
away from
person.
politics, who is he?
But I just told you that he lives his life simply like everybody else. You're sitting here in his home. I don't like going into those things. Why do you want to get into our personal lives? Why?
No, he's a personal, he's a public figure.
Yeah,
People,
he is. But
people would like
I
to
already
know,
answered you
people would
on that.
want to know who is Besigye when he's not in the politics.
I already told you about that. I already have. And if you want me to keep repeating. Here we are, is his family, you are in his house. I told you about his son. I told you how we miss him. So, what do you want to know?
Do you mind if I ask you how you met him?
This is not the kind of interview I expected.
No, I mean, there are several parts of this interview.
I met him in the struggle. Yeah, but I'm not going to go into that long story. I met him in